Okay guys, what we're going to look at now is what to do when we have a function being greater than 0 or a function being less than 0. To be honest, these aren't actually any different to what we've already been doing. Okay, so what we have is, if we have, for example, x squared plus 2x is greater than 0. Let's do this one to start off with. Okay. So basically we just do exactly the same as what we've done before. So we have an axis, because we are going to need to do a sketch. Remember, always do a sketch with quadratic equations. So we have an axis. I'll put this over here. We know that we have a parabola. X squared plus 2x is greater than 0. Okay, now the first thing we need to do is solve this. So we want to find what the intersection points are with the x-axis. So we have x squared plus 2x is equal to 0. And again, we change it to equals because with a quadratic equation, the inequality sign won't necessarily be the same for both directions. Okay, so first thing we need to do here is we have two terms. When there's two terms and both of them have an x in them, the easiest thing to do is to factorize. So our first factor is x, and then we have x plus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, what that gives us is x is equal to 0 or x plus 2 is equal to 0. And this gives us x is equal to minus 2, and we already have x is equal to 0. Now we can now draw the sketch for this one. We know that we have a parabola that is positive. So if we look up here, there's this term in front of the x is really a 1. So we know that it's a positive parabola, so it's this shape. Okay, and we know that our intercepts are at x equals 0 and x equals minus 2. So we can therefore put a mark in at 0 and a mark in at minus 2, and our parabola is going to look something like this. Okay, and we have x and y. This is minus 2 and this is 0. Alright, now we said we want to know where the parabola is greater than 0. Okay, so where is our parabola above the x-axis? And in this case, it's above the x-axis out here and over here. Alright, so we can see that on our x-axis, that means we're taking from minus 2 and we're going out, and we're taking it from 0 and we're going out. Okay, so what this gives us is we know that we have x is less than minus 2 or x is greater than 0. Okay, because it's lower than minus 2 if you look on the x-axis, and it's higher than 0 if you look on the x-axis. And that's it. So these are exactly the same as the normal ones we've been doing. Let's do another one for an example. Okay, so let's say that we have x squared minus 2x minus 15 is less than or equal to 0. Okay, so again, the first thing we need to do is we need to find what those x-intercepts are. Alright, so this can be factorized. If you need to make a little table to do it, then go for it. Our numbers must multiply to give minus 15, and they must add to give minus 2. Alright, so numbers that multiply to give minus 15 is minus 15 times 1, minus 1 times 15, minus 3 times 5, and minus 5 times 3. If we add them together, here the first one's going to be minus 14, then 14, then minus 3 plus 5 is 2, and then minus 2. And in this situation, the last one is what we are looking at. This is the one that matches what we want. Okay, so we have x minus 5, x plus 3 is less than or equal to 0. Okay, So we know x minus 5 equals 0. Oh, sorry, this should be equals. X minus 5 equals 0, or x plus 3 equals 0. Okay, so x is equal to 5, or x is equal to minus 3. Let's make our axes. So we're going to draw our sketch. Again, remember, always draw a sketch. So our intercepts are at, our intercepts are at 5 and at minus 3. Remember, this is just a sketch. This doesn't need to be exact. All right, and our parabola is positive, so it looks like this. Okay, and we wanted to know where is the parabola less than or equal to 0. Okay, and that means it's going to be below the x-axis. So where is this parabola below the x-axis? It's below the x-axis all the way around here. Okay, this gives us what we have. All right, now this means we are looking at between minus 3 and 5, in between. Remember, all of this is part of your calculations. You must show all these steps. X and Y. Okay, so you must show a sketch. This is considered part of your grading. Okay, now in this case we know that x is in between minus 3 and 5. Okay, so write it that way. Minus 3, 5, put x in between, and then all you need to do is point your arrows to the left, and you will then see that it does make sense. Minus 3 is less than x. Yes, that is what we see in our picture. Okay, and x is less than 5. All right, and that is also what we see. Now, this was less than or equal to, so I've made a mistake here because I haven't actually colored my circles in. Make sure you do that as well. Okay, this is it. So no more difficult than what you were already doing. In fact, I think this is actually a little bit easier because you're only working with the x-axis. Okay.